Hello, welcome out to For The Fans. We're going retro today. I'm joined by just one friend of mine. It is Work the Space. Jack, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well. It's been a while since we did a podcast just us two.
It's been a bit of an odd week, really, for us. We've been trying to get together, like the group of us, but it just really hasn't worked out this week for one reason or another.
Yeah,
so
we avoided doing a show with two of us all week to then just do a show with two of us at the end of the week. So that's gone really well.
I mean, we could have done Champions League. I mean, we're not going to talk about that, I don't think, in too much detail, although I feel like as Liverpool fans, we've probably had it the worst of all the English fans this week.
We're just idiots, aren't we? That's the problem I find. Yeah, we were really good. Let's get the Liverpool bit out of the way, actually. We'll talk about them as we do our previews. But yeah, we were okay and just didn't score another goal, and I was furious.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen that stat. It's like 106 shots in
it's
total
embarrassing.
in the last 6 games or whatever.
But our defence is the problem, apparently. So I keep hearing from everybody.
I feel like that's just the ultimate scapegoat at this point. I mean, if you missed the result, it was 1-1 versus Spartak Moscow. City, 2-0 win at home. I'm sure they'll be happy with that. United 4-1 win, convincing result. Martial looked pretty scary in that game, and
Chelsea with an amazing result. For me, that was result of the week. Getting the
last minute winner
against Atletico. That's a great. Diego Costa looked unhappy.
If you haven't seen this, he was literally face palming at the end. It was a sight to see.
I would like to think Conte put a picture of that up in the dressing room.
Is he training with Chelsea still before his
who
move?
knows?
Or is he training
doing,
on his own? Is he just at Atletico training to move? Just mystery.
Yeah, it's weird that he's gone now at the end of September. None of it makes sense. Right then, so what we're going to do then, listeners, rather than talking about last week's football, because you've all seen and heard everything there is to know about last week's football, what we thought we'd do instead is talk about the preview or the upcoming fixtures over the weekend. There are some big old games happening this weekend, folks. Now, obviously, we're going to use our friends over at Predictor and do it on Predictor. Of course, if you want to get involved, Twitter and the top line of the description, make your predictions, prizes to be won. So by all means, get involved. This might even be the last week, Jack, to get involved.
This is the last week you can get involved and get entered, so just do it.
So if you have an amazing week and win it all, you could be right up there in terms of the points tally. So what we'll do, Jack, we'll do it off the website. That means we start with Huddersfield versus Tottenham.
Ooh,
I was hoping that's yes. That's what I was going to do. Huddersfield have had a really good start. If you'd have told Huddersfield you'd have 9 points after 6 games, I suspect, Jack, they would have been bloody pleased with that.
And it's not only that; it's the fact that they've got 5 clean sheets from 6 games.
Yeah,
they've
that's
conceded
impeccable.
1 goal so far. Like, they are looking surprisingly good. Albeit, I feel like we need to not get too carried away here and realise the fact they have had a relatively easy start to the season against the likes of Palace, Newcastle, Southampton, but at the same time,
but then again, that's what they used to win, right? Yeah.
These are the games that you're looking to win and looking to shut them out to really stand the best chance of survival.
Yeah, they've got Tottenham obviously this weekend. They're away at Swansea, then they've got United, Liverpool back to back, which might be a little bit tougher, I suspect. Tottenham on the reverse of it have looked. I mean, Harry Kane's firing properly now. We've not talked about this for a little while, but I think now he's doing it a bit more in the Champions League. Of course, got a hat-trick recently. Is he world class, Jack? That's been the discussion I've seen a lot recently.
I feel like we had I'm getting flashbacks to the end of last season where we had the exact same conversation. I said for me, a player has to do it in the big time, be it a big continental competition internationally or in the domestic stuff like the Champions League. But I feel like it's easy to get carried away when it's the group stage. Not to say that should be discounted, but I want to see Champions League quarterfinals taken by the scruff of the neck by Harry Kane.
I think. I totally agree with that. I think on current form and based on what we've seen in the last couple of seasons, though, it'd be almost stupid to say no, he's not world class. I mean, his record for Spurs right now is 82 league goals in 120, or 119, I think it is, which is really, really good. Like, really good. He's got 4 and 6 so far. He's got 5 goals in 2 European matches as well. This could be he could genuinely be the top scorer in Europe if Spurs get through the group stage and maybe get through the last 16 into the quarters. Like, it's very possible for Kane to get at least 10, maybe up to 12. For
sure.
This campaign.
And it was a great result for them. We didn't mention, but against Dortmund, obviously 3-1 win. I feel like there was a few unnecessary red cards for English sides in the Champions League. this week with let's send things off in injury time. But yeah, Spurs good win. Coming in with some form. Obviously, reports this week that Dele Alli might be on his way to Los Blancos.
Don't you just think that's just bollocks?
It's a little bit. See, it's the kind of thing where I want to say it's rubbish, but I've been playing, Alex Hunter, the journey this week on FIFA. And I won't do the spoilers, but if you can do what he's done, then
I don't think he'll do the bit. I don't think he'll do the MLS bit first.
Do you know spoilers? Right, we'll have to spoiler cast now. You've ruined it for everyone.
Sorry, everyone. Okay, well, regardless of that, then what do we think the score will be? Huddersfield again looked really good at home, been keeping clean sheets. Where Spurs away from home have looked good. It's been at Wembley where they've had the problems. So, what are you saying for this one?
I mean, I've put 3-0 Spurs. I just feel like this is the day. I feel like this is the day where the floodgates open. I feel like for a team like Huddersfield, you can't expect to keep clean sheets and concede one goal, in 6. I feel like, today or tomorrow, the dream dies, and the crushing reality is that the Premier League's not as easy as it's been for them so far.
Okay, I do encourage distance because I'm doing this as well. Get predictor open and then just do it as we talk through it and decide what you think the scores will be. And I'm going to go with a 1-1, Jack. I think Huddersfield might hold Spurs to a 1-1. Is it
Meunier goal for the French forward?
No, I'm going to go Moy. I think Moy will get it. Yeah, he scored against Newcastle, looked good ever since, and I think, I'm going with him. Now, things get... let's move on to Manchester United Crystal Palace. Things get easier for Roy Hodgson. I predicted 10-0 on predictor last week.
Do you think he looked at the fixtures before taking the Palace job?
No, well,
if I was him, I would have been going, I'm on holiday for the next month or so. Play these games without me, and I'll be around after.
He probably thought his opening fixture, it'd be fine. He'd win that game, and then he'd be on to the tough ones, and everything would be great. Obviously, that didn't happen for him. Who did they play? I can't remember now. Was it West Brom? Maybe no, Southampton. Obviously, won it. Lost to Southampton at Sellers Park. They've now got. After a demolition by City, who would look very good, they play Man United, who look really good.
Scarily good.
I think I'm gonna come out straight now, Jack, and say 4-0 for Man United.
I mean, this is awkward, isn't it? Because I've said 4-0 and I've put my banker on it as well.
Have you? You're bankering on a 4-0. Wow, that's brave. Okay, I do think it's 4-0. I think Mourinho has got this United team playing for him. And Romelu Lukaku, a lot of talk. We had debates as well. We'll come on to little Morata soon. So little, he's not little at all. Alvaro Morata soon. You very much thought that Lukaku would be a better fit at United. I actually thought Morata would be a better fit at United. I thought Lukaku at Chelsea and Morata at United would actually be better fits. What's happening so far, though, is they're both working out rather well for both parties. What have you made of Lukaku? Because there was a lot said about his first touch, but it doesn't seem to be an issue, does it?
I mean, my big worry for him was, and I feel like it's been completely erased. If
I'm big worry? You're not his mum.
Oh, I'm so worried about little old Romelu.
He's not little. He's massive.
He's little in my heart.
Oh, okay. He'll always be little to you.
I was a little bit worried with him. At Everton, I feel like he was very fortunate in the sense that playing against Everton, there's a lot of teams which aren't really going to respect Everton necessarily.
Yeah.
They'll play fairly high lines and there's space for him to manoeuvre in behind. And I thought, going to United, it's a bit of a different proposition as a striker. Granted, you've got all this extra talent behind you, but there is less space to operate in, and there is a lot more expected of you. And he's just adapted, hasn't he? I know he missed that penalty. That's probably the only real hiccup he's had, and I guess the Super Cup miss. But
he's showing he's a lot more intelligent than I think people gave him credit for. I think people would often focus on his physicality and his goal scoring record, but wouldn't necessarily think he was the cleverest of players.
I think that's fair.
I think while he does seem like quite a nice guy, actually quite an intelligent guy, I think his football brain was sometimes called into question at Everton when there was moments where he'd almost feel so out of the game that all of a sudden when he was back in the game it would take him a little while to adjust again, and in the Premier League you don't really get that opportunity, whereas at United he looks so at home already, and I hate it. I think
the other thing is he has done wonders for Pogba. I think Matic has obviously also helped in that
regard. Pogba's out. Speaking of Pogba, he's out for till November now. He's out for a while.
He is indeed, and
which is going to hurt United.
I think he's been a very big player in terms of unlocking the potential of Lukaku. I guess in the same way that Matic has kind of unlocked Pogba's potential by kind of giving him a lack of defensive responsibility, and he can be a little bit reckless in his play. Exactly, and I feel like they're going to repeatedly unlock the Palace defence, unfortunately.
Yeah, for Palace then, we're not expecting anything, are we? I'm not, anyway.
I mean, if they get a goal, I feel like that's an achievement.
Okay, well, let's hope they do. In fact, you know what? Palace 4-1. There you go. Maybe you'll get a 4-1. I'll change it because I'm allowed to. Right, let's go to West Brom, Watford. West Brom, how do they do this every year? just seem to be quite comfortable every single year.
It's sickening, really, isn't it?
I predicted #WRA to go down just because I figure that at some point it's got to bust. And speaking of teams that are probably overperforming, Watford on the other side of it, Jack, 11 points, level with Spurs and Liverpool. I've got, sort of under the radar. I mean, it says everything about the Premier League, Jack. Watford are 6th. They've got a -1 goal difference.
Well, they did. I don't want to use the term dicked, but they did lose 6-0 against Man City, so I feel like it was.
But when you take that into account, right, like City have offered out a few beatings this season. Liverpool, Watford and Palace have all been on the end of an absolute hammering. Like, they're having a really good year. Like, so far, Marco Silva, there was a lot of question marks over the way Watford do things. They brought in a new manager again, and it's working again. I do wonder if it's just Watford bank on honeymoon periods. First half of the season, play really well, get it done, by Christmas, knock off. Like, I don't know, it seems to be like that every time. But this, in theory, should be a really good game. Like, it should be a right old battle at the Hawthorns as well. We'll go straight into a prediction with this one because both teams are doing really well. We'll talk. Hopefully, this might be a game actually that we surprisingly talk about next week. Don't let me down, West Brom Watford. Don't be 0-0. But what are you predicting, Jack?
2-2.
All right, I'm predicting 0-0 because I just think they might cancel each other out. But there's players on either side that I'm quite impressed by.
This is quite a big game for Watford because their next few games against the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, they've also got Everton on the horizon. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how they can do. Obviously, it's worth noting there is an international break after this weekend's fixtures.
Oh, it's too soon, isn't it?
I don't. Yeah, 2 in a month.
It's too soon. It's just, back off.
No rhythm. No rhythm. Not liking it.
I don't like it at all. No, I'm not a fan. All right, so you've gone for 2-2. I've gone for 0-0. Any scorers you want to just pick out? Anyone impressing you from either side?
Is it Richardson? The
Richarlison.
That's the guy. Yeah, him.
What did you call him?
Richard, I don't know.
I preferred yours. It was funnier. Okay, well, anyway, you think he might be on the score sheet. I think if anyone wants to score, it might be him, but we'll see. And but no, both sides so far, I'll be pretty happy, I think. West Brom fans are never happy. But #WBA. I haven't got any in front of me, but I imagine it's going wild with frustration. Right, shall we? Oh, the next one, Jack's probably the biggest game of the weekend.
This is the tasty one, isn't it?
Let's go into it then. It's Chelsea, Antonio Conte's Chelsea versus Manchester City.
And can I just say, I love the fact that this kind of game's on a Saturday at 5 o'clock instead of a Sunday.
Yeah, it makes it feel... it doesn't make it feel bigger because Sky always call it Super Sunday. You can't have Special Saturday, can you? It's not as good.
I know Saturday is Subpar Saturday.
Subpar Saturday?
I mean, to be fair, it's on BT Sport, so it could be subpar.
I quite like BT Sport as a broadcaster. Just putting it out there.
I mean, I don't dislike it.
Give me a job. No, I'm joking. It's fine.
I just feel like it's the hipster version of Sky Sports.
Do you remember Setanta? Setanta was like...
Setanta Sport. Is that still a thing in Ireland? I feel like it might be.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I may well have seen broadcasts of Setanta through totally legal means.
Oh,
anyway.
Okay. For the legal pre-season Liverpool game stream. I know the ones, yes.
Definitely exists. Right. Actually, I bought LFC TV in pre-season, so you take that back.
I've taken it back.
I also rescinded my subscription as soon as the season started. Right, what are you thinking there? Let's go straight for a score prediction on this one.
Okay, so my logic here is I'm expecting a barnstormer. I'm expecting one of those games.
How many goals have you got before you realised that?
6 or 7. I've still not actually decided yet.
I've gone 5. I've gone 3-2 City. I'll throw it out there.
I feel like this is going to be one of those games that on Premier League years they show the full highlights of, for this season. Because I think it could be that big. And I've gone 3-3. But I kind of want to go 4-3 one way or another and not be boring.
Well, go on, be bold then. Be bold.
No, I can't. No, 3-3.
So you're going to be boring down the middle. All right, well, apparently, have you seen this thing about Aguero?
I have, yes. He's been in a car crash. Apparently, I don't know how true this is because I read it this morning and people make shit up. But apparently, if he hadn't been wearing his seatbelt, it would have been far more serious. Is what?
Yeah, he was in a taxi on the way to the airport after watching singer Maluma. Are you aware of Maluma?
Only because of this. Maybe it was a publicity stunt.
But apparently, I mean, I'm looking at it here. Maluma is a Colombian singer-songwriter.
Doesn't ring any bells?
No, biggest song is... I've literally got no idea. I wouldn't even know what to tell you. But apparently he cites influences Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson. So, yeah, got it now?
I have. I've just found a quote from Aguero that he said to Radio Metro de Argentina, saying the taxi driver did not see the curve and skid. And when he skidded, we hit pole. We hit the... Sorry, I'm making it sound like he writes in broken English. He doesn't. I broke my rib. Now I'm resting. It hurts me badly. I'll be discharged in a little while. That seems like a really terrible translation that someone's done of an Argentine interview, but we'll go with it.
I see. I've just found out he did a song for the 2014 World Cup with Elvis Crespo, which is a fantastic name.
Sounds like a weird footballer come songwriter, doesn't it, Elvis Crespo?
Called Ole Brazil. I mean, I enjoy that. So, yeah, I mean, Aguero's... Apparently he's not hurt. There was reports that he'd, like, busted his ribs or something, but apparently he's fine. Do we think that part... There was a lot of talk last week, especially. The Gabriel Jesus-Sergio Aguero partnership leaves a lot to be excited about. Like, it's a really...
Well, it's very unconventional, isn't it? Kind of the two-striker thing.
They seem... I think we actually talked about it a little bit last week, but they seem very similar, yet are extraordinarily effective.
Yeah.
Which is not... As you say, it's not something we're likely to see. On the other side, though, Morata has quite a couple of games at the very beginning, but all of a sudden is scoring big goals in big moments for Chelsea. And there was a lot of questions, wasn't there, Costa? Like, if Chelsea lose Costa, is there going to be a man there that's going to come in? Is Michy going to get more of a chance, or is it going to be Morata? Morata seems to have taken that responsibility by the horns, and is looking great for Chelsea.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, he's got an inform in FIFA, hallmark of quality right there. But he has surprised me. Like, I had
you played a lot of FIFA, Jack?
I have this week. Is that obvious? Is it coming across a little bit?
Yeah, I've got a feeling.
Apologise. I feel like with Morata, he's really pleasantly surprised me, because I didn't think he'd shine that well at United. I thought Chelsea was perhaps a little bit of a better fit for him, but I maintained that I thought Lukaku was the better player. And as you said, there was this big question, start of the season, can he do what Diego's done? And this was at a point where we thought he might be fighting with Diego for a spot in the team as well. Obviously, It's not worked out that way.
I don't like this. I think Diego Costa loses a lot of credibility for me with this entire bust-up, really.
It's just very immature, isn't it? He's kind of run away and then
he earns a lot of money. Like, I know people say, money shouldn't be a factor, right? But if you've got an employer and you sign a contract, like, you adhere to the contract until you're sold or you're allowed to leave. I find it pretty disgusting, actually. If I was a Chelsea fan, it's the sort of thing that, although he won league titles with them and stuff, and he gave them great moments, like, it's a lot. For example, it's a lot like there was a lot of talk that Coutinho, right, had really undercut Liverpool fans and made them feel like he didn't care at all. This, for me, is so much worse than what Coutinho did. Just from an outside perspective, I don't know how Chelsea fans feel, but there's just a sour taste in my mouth, Jack, when I even think about the whole Costa situation.
It's a bit sad already, because it seems like he's just not going to play for them again. I do wonder if he's going to be a bit of a Ross McCormack. He shouldn't be allowed to decide that, should he? That's what I hate about it. I mean, he could end up being a bit of a Ross McCormack for Atletico. Comes in, bit of weight put on. He's not been playing.
Still get a real reference.
I mean, we're going to talk about McCormack quickly. Big move for him today.
Are we talking about McCormack?
Melbourne City, because he's in the same league as Costa.
Has he really gone to it?
He's gone to the Australian leagues to play in the A-League. He's gone to Melbourne. Ross. I don't want to say which Melbourne team, because there's two.
The thing is, though, right, that's a dream move. He's gone to Australia.
I think he's on loan.
So he's trading in Birmingham for Australia. I mean, I'll tell you what, he's doing well for himself off McCormack.
I mean, he's gone to Melbourne City, so he'll be going to New York City FC next year as well.
Yeah, and then he'll get a loan move to Manchester City one year.
This is how he rekindles his career. I can see it now.
So anyway, what was the score you went for, Chelsea City?
3-3 or 4-3.
I'm going 3-2 City, I think. I think we'll see Gabriel Jesus, do some magical things. That's the hope, anyway. It'll be really interesting, the game, though. Two different styles, going to be fascinating. Right, let's go through a few others. Let's do it a little bit quicker, and then we'll get on to some of the Sunday games. Right, Everton versus Burnley. I almost read the result out then, as what I'd predicted, but I've gone 2-0 for that one. Everton 2,
Burnley 0.
I've
gone 2-0 there.
Do you, Everton?
Yeah.
See, I think Burnley have done all right, actually. I feel almost bad saying that it'll just be sort of a straightforward 2-0, because Burnley have obviously been around a little bit, went to Anfield and frustrated, but ordinarily aren't that good on Merseyside. And while they've had another side they've had a decent start to the season, similar to Huddersfield and Everton, haven't looked up to much. I just think that at some point someone's going to snap at Everton, and it might have to be Koeman during this game.
This is the rebound game, but if they do lose it, Koeman is in trouble. I think it'd be fair to say.
But do you think it's the sort of investment from a club that you can't sack him because it's too, I don't know. I guess we're seeing with the ball that probably isn't the case, but I know. I feel like with Coman, you are investing a little bit more in a project because you've seen him do it in the Premier League. That's the difference between him and De Boer.
Maybe I just feel like right now, I mean, obviously they got a little bit of respite with their win last time out against Bournemouth at home. They need to really follow that up.
Yeah,
but a little bit of worry for them. Obviously, we've seen Ancelotti get sacked this week.
Yeah, that's really strange, isn't it? Do you know what? Can we talk about that in a few games' time when we get to Swansea?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So what did you go with 2-0? We've both gone 2-0 Everton.
A bit boring that we've gone the same.
Right.
But
Bournemouth Leicester. Give me your score.
See, I've gone 1-0 here, Bournemouth, but I've changed my mind. I'm going 3-1 Leicester because it's in my fantasy football team and I need to be a beacon of optimism.
So interesting. I went 2-1 Leicester. Bournemouth haven't started the season very well at all. 1 win from 6 games. They've looked really underwhelming. Worst we've seen them in the Premier League, arguably. And Leicester equally, under Craig Shakespeare, there's a lot of sort of positive vibes going around Leicester, wasn't there, last year when he came in? But that all seems to have slowed down a little bit. They've had some tough games so far, Leicester, but I don't know, you'd expect a little bit more. They beat Liverpool, of course, in the League Cup, and then we battered them, because that's what we do.
Of course.
Battered them. But no, I think I'd give Leicester the edge in this one. I think their experience with tough away fixtures a couple of years ago and last season, especially, I think Bournemouth will be up for it, but I just think Leicester will have the quality just over Bournemouth to come out with a win. What did you go with? Sorry, you went with a 3-1 Leicester win?
3-1 Leicester. I dropped the fantasy football reference in there. I'm going to bring it up now. 4th in For The Fantasy. I'm keeping up then.
Who's leading?
I will find out for us right now. It is Oliver Mishinger. I hope I said that correctly.
Blimey, that definitely wasn't right, Oliver. We're so sorry.
But Ollie is top. I'll call him Ollie. We're on best friend terms now.
I'm 452nd.
I mean, it's not good. I'm in 4th. I feel like I am respecting us quite adequately.
Yeah. How is it? Oh, is that Flynn? Would you say it, Flynn?
Yeah. Or Finn.
Finn, maybe. All right, Finn Smith. You're second on For The Fantasy, and Callum Hunter's 11 is up in 4th. You're third. You're a 4th position. That's not bad.
No, the 2 guys who are top have got Aguero as well. So
I should say I'm doing badly.
They've got to do.
Callum Keane is doing worse than me.
Is he?
Proudy's doing all right. Proudy is 290th in For The Fantasy. Keno is 767th. And so
that makes me in 4th look like a god, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Last year I was very good, and this year I've absolutely crumbled, so I feel a bit sad about it. Right, let's go to Stoke Southampton. 2 teams that, in my opinion, Jack, both need the win in a big way. They've had decent starts to the season, but these are the sort of games that you've got to be beating the teams around you. And for me, these teams start the season pretty well matched. So what's your score for this one?
2-1 to the scarily good Stoke.
Really? I've gone for a 1-1 draw, which is a bit on the fancy, innit? But I don't think either side... I think, while there's lots of players that could provide an X factor, I don't think we see it nearly consistently enough. I think both sides are really lacking a consistent little world beater. Like, if Shaqiri decided, I'm going to become really good, or if Gabbiadini started scoring goals again, that'd be good. Like, you would say that the one team had the edge over the other, but we never really see it, do we? From either side. Hence fair. They're sort of mid-table Premier League teams every year. It's a shame. I quite like both. Like, at the moment, the way the sides are set up, I quite like both of them. So it's a shame to see them sort of both... Struggling is probably the wrong word, right? Southampton have got 8 points from 6 games. We'll be pretty happy. Stoke, 5 points from 6 games. I can't imagine Mark Hughes and other fans will be happy with that.
They're not doing what Watford are doing, are they? I think that's like the fairest way to put it. There's not been that big breakthrough. That's
a really good point, right? Because they'll be looking up at Watford going, that's where we should be. Like, we should be around those areas. You're looking at Burnley as well, who have arguably got like lesser resources than both of these sides. Newcastle, newly promoted, up in 10th. And you'll be thinking, we should be doing a little bit better. But again, we're only 6 games in, right? There's plenty of time left.
Yeah, we don't get too reactionary.
What did you go for, sorry?
2-1.
2-1 Stoke, scarily good. Short cross double, or...?
I was actually thinking Hesse to get both.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
He's in I feel like my predictions are somewhat based off my fantasy football team.
Right. Yeah, apparently so.
If I will on my players, maybe they'll do a little bit better. You know, they'll listen to the pod, but he believes in me.
Incoming worst week ever for Jack next week. Right, West Ham at Swansea. Is this the game, Jack? Is this the game for Bilic? What do you mean? No, I've not.
They're gonna lose. He's not going to get sacked.
So he's going to lose, but he won't get sacked because Swansea have had. They've had a similar start to Stoke, really. I think that they would rather be doing slightly better, but they can't be too
See, the weird thing here is, knowing that there's the international break, if you were going to sack Bilic or De Boer, not De Boer, sorry, Koeman, now would be the time. Like, it would actually make sense to do it now.
I don't think Coman's ever going to go. I think Bilic, though, a lot of expectation. 4 points from 7 it'll be. If they lose at home to Swansea, no disrespect to Swansea, but I think that is a game West Ham fans will be looking at going, we have to win that one. So, I don't know. I think West Ham will... Again, I hate to go for draws, Jack, but I'm thinking about it. I'm going 2-2. I think a very vicious 2-2. Is this a clash of the AUs, by the way?
Yeah, I believe
Jordan
so.
versus Andre.
Is Andre still?
Yeah. He's still at West Ham.
Yeah,
so
then it is.
This is them battling. Oh, I like a brother rivalry. It's always good.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, because I think when it just adds that extra bit of spice. If they were going if they're near each other, I mean, they're both quite attacking players, aren't they? So that won't happen all too often. But I like a crunching challenge between brothers.
I don't know if you missed my pun there or.
Sorry, what was the? Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
Are you looking forward to it?
Oh, brilliant! Pathetic. Right.
You didn't even notice it. It's layered in there.
I've gone 2-2, and you've gone for
2-1 Swansea.
Do you think it'll be a Swansea win? So you do think it'll be a Swansea win, but you don't think Bilic will go?
Now that I think about the international break, part of me wants to say yes. I'll say no. I'll stick to my guns, but I don't think it's implausible.
Okay, implausible, right. It's Arsenal versus Brighton. 2 to go, Arsenal, Brighton and Newcastle, Liverpool. What are we thinking for this one then? It's at the Emirates. Brighton have had, again, a side that have probably had a decent start. 7 points from 6 games. And Chris Hughton's probably delighted with that. And they've played well against some of the sides, but I do think Brighton are, against a team like Arsenal at the Emirates, just a sitting duck. I'm a bit worried.
Accurate description.
I've gone 5-1, Jack.
Okay, so you've woken me up there because I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
Just a standard 2-0. And what do you think the reaction of Arsenal Fan TV?
Well, this is the thing. I was about to say, part of me just wants to see Brighton win to tilt Arsenal Fan TV, but that's
I think
standard.
That's awful, isn't it, really? Because I've never really had anything against Arsenal, but the idea of watching fans outraged and furious, there's part of all of us that is like, I'm glad that's not me.
It's a train wreck you get to enjoy, isn't it? Kind of what?
Yeah, because no one's really getting like physically hurt. It's just a little bit of emotional pain that I can be okay with, and I go through a lot of it as a Liverpool fan. Basically, through a 90 minutes at the moment where it hurts. But I don't know. I quite enjoy Arsenal Fan TV. I like seeing. We've talked about this before. I like watching fan opinion, and we are essentially that in a way. So. I can only encourage it. But now I've gone 5-1. So Brighton fans, I'm sorry about that. I just think that Arsenal will be well up for it. Lacazette looks like a player that cares. And I think we might even see a Lacazette hat-trick, Jack. In fact, is Aguero on my fantasy team? Because I might drop him for Lacazette.
You're going to have to drop him, aren't you?
Is Aguero actually out, though? Because Guardiola's kind of gone, he's fine.
2 months. Broken rib.
No, but is he actually a broken rib?
I don't know. He says it hurts to move at the moment on the radio.
I'm doing it right now. Lacazette in for what's his face. And
do you know where I'm going to be exactly a month today, speaking of Brighton?
A month older? You're going to be speaking at Brighton?
No, I'm going to be at Brighton versus Southampton.
I thought you were doing some after dinner speaking. I was thinking,
maybe if they invite me, I'll sneak into the player lounge.
Are you getting that gig? What's that all about?
But no, so if you don't know, I live quite close to Brighton, so I've got club memberships. I can go see the odd game, and I wanted to see Charlie Austin play.
All right, yeah. I mean, of course you did.
I'm going to have to hide my Charlie Austin, shirt when I'm.
Have you gone for a score, by the way?
I have now, and I've gone for 2-0.
2-0, 2-0. So of course you did. And then finally, leave the best till last. Rafa Benitez has a reunion with Liverpool, and I will try and talk minimally about it because we are Liverpool fans. I do, though, think we'll just edge it. Like a 3-1. It'll be quite a good game, I think, on Sunday.
I've said 2-1. I'm thinking 2-1. The most unconvincing 2-1 ever.
Okay, for a lot of nervy red card antics, I think might even occur.
I can see 2 red cards in this game, 1 for each team.
I just think there's been a period for Liverpool now where they've looked really average, and I think that at some point Klopp will make them snap out of it, and they've got to perform well. Mane's back as well. So I think that's a factor, isn't it? Having, for the first time, he's going to have Coutinho, Firmino, Mane and Salah in the same team. I think
it's a little terrifying, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and it looks as if, by the way, Wijnaldum's been the guy to step out, which is interesting. Let's not talk about Liverpool, though. Let's talk about the fact that Newcastle, Jack, no one expected this. 9 points from 6 games, and since the opening day, have looked really good.
Yeah. No, they have really. I mean, at the moment, I've been contemplating putting Lascelles in my fantasy football team.
They lost to Brighton, but I mean, before that, I think they beat West Ham, they beat Swansea, they beat Stoke. If you're a newly promoted side, those are the teams you want to be beating. I mean, admittedly, away at Brighton's another one, but it's a long journey, isn't it?
Exactly.
You've got to take the journey into account. It's a very long journey. I don't mean the FIFA journey. I know you're thinking about it. But it's a very long journey.
Are we sponsored by FIFA this week? Because we might as well be at this point.
I don't know. They're more Amsterdam taxis. I'm not sure. One of those. So what have you gone for? Sorry, 2-1 Liverpool?
I have.
I've gone 3-1 Newcastle.
But
for nothing other than bias. But do not be surprised if it's 4-0 Newcastle and there's an absolute meltdown on Twitter by Liverpool fans.
I look forward to it.
Somewhat to be expected as well. That then, viewers, is going to bring us to the end. Of course, check out the links, top line of the description of the YouTube video, and or check out the Twitter at ForTheFans Show, ForTheFansShow.com for all available links. And thank you for listening, whether on iTunes or on YouTube. We're sorry there wasn't a normal show this week. We'll be back to normal next week when everyone should be back to full fitness. Proudy's currently out meeting a man in London, which sounds a little bit ominous, but I don't actually know any more details than that. And Kino's not very well, hence they weren't here today. Jack, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure too. It's been nice to have a bit of a throwback, and I kind of hope people like this shorter show. It's maybe we
should do more preview stuff like this, and maybe do 2 shows a week. I don't know, viewers. Let us know. Comment section.
Let's get one show a week done first, shall we?
Let's not run before we can walk. Not run before we can walk. Right then, from us at For The Fans, me and Jack especially, we'll see you again soon. We love with care from me, Ben. Goodbye. That went better. We should drop both Kino and Proudy. Yeah.